The light here does something strange. It washes over everything. It makes the ordinary seem cinematic. I'm standing where the sand meets the pavement. The sun is low, casting long shadows that stretch like fingers across the boardwalk. The Pacific Ocean whispers a steady, rhythmic hush. It's a sound that promises peace. It's a sound that has drawn people to this edge of the continent for generations. The air is thick with the smell of salt and something sweet, maybe sunscreen, maybe freedom. This is the California dream, or at least the postcard version of it. It's beautiful, almost aggressively so. Skaters glide past me. Their wheels hum against the concrete path. They move with an easy grace, silhouetted against the brilliant orange sky. A few surfers are still out on the water. They are just dark shapes bobbing on a sea of liquid gold. They wait patiently for the next wave, part of the landscape itself. The palm trees stand tall and silent. They are sentinels watching over this scene. Their fronds rustle in the gentle evening breeze. It's a sound that could lull you to sleep. It's a sound that feels ancient and constant. Everything feels perfect, but something is slightly off-key in this symphony. I walk closer to the sand. My shoes sink slightly with each step. The beach is vast, stretching for miles in either direction. The waves roll in, one after another, endlessly. They erase footprints. They smooth over the day's activities. The sound is hypnotic. It's a constant washing away, a cleansing. Gulls cry out overhead, their calls sharp and lonely in the fading light. A family is packing up their towels and umbrellas. Their laughter carries on the wind, a fleeting moment of joy. They seem oblivious to the other world that coexists here, just a few feet away from their beach blankets. This place is built on contrasts, the warmth of the sun and the cold of the ocean, the noise of the boardwalk and the quiet of the open sea. It's a place of performance and of solitude. But the most jarring contrast is the one that isn't on any postcard. It's the one you only see when you look past the sunset, when you let your eyes adjust to the shadows. It's the story of paradise and the story of survival, happening at the same time, on the same strip of sand. And as the last sliver of sun disappears, the shadows deepen, and that other story begins to emerge. If you found this story compelling, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more in-depth explorations and untold stories. Your support helps us bring these important narratives to light. As the last tourists head for their cars, a different kind of life stirs. It begins subtly. A rustle of a tarp, the metallic clink of a pole being fitted into place. The landscape of the boardwalk starts to change. What was an open promenade just an hour ago is now becoming something else entirely. It's a slow transformation, happening piece by piece. Tents begin to appear. They are a patchwork of colors. Faded blue, dirty green, sun-bleached gray. They rise from the concrete like strange, fragile mushrooms after a rain. Each one is a claim. A small pocket of private space in a very public world. I watch a man carefully assemble his home for the night. He moves with a quiet efficiency. His hands are sure. He has done this many times before. He doesn't look at the ocean. He doesn't seem to notice the beauty of the twilight. His focus is on the task at hand, securing a flap, tightening a rope, creating a barrier against the night. The wind picks up, coming off the cool ocean. It tugs at the thin fabric of his tent. He fights against it, a silent battle between man and element. This is not camping. This is not a choice. This is a nightly ritual of necessity. The sounds change too. The laughter and music of the day are replaced by a lower hum, the murmur of quiet conversations, the occasional cough, the sound of a shopping cart's wobbly wheel on the pavement. These are the sounds of a community settling in, a community born of circumstance. I walk past rows of these temporary structures. Some are simple pup tents. Others are elaborate constructions made of tarps, wood pallets, and scavenged pieces of furniture. They are monuments to human ingenuity in the face of desperation. They are homes. Inside each tent is a life, a story. A person who once had a different address, a different reality. Now, their front yard is the Pacific Ocean. Their ceiling is a thin layer of nylon. The waves provide a constant, inescapable soundtrack to their lives. I wonder if the sound is comforting or if it's a relentless reminder of their precarious position, perched on the edge of a continent, on the edge of society. The sea breeze feels different now. It's colder. It carries a sense of unease. The paradise I saw just an hour ago feels like a distant memory, a mirage that has faded with the light. The ocean is a powerful presence here. It is indifferent. It doesn't care about the structures built on the sand or the struggles played out on the shore. I stand near the water's edge early in the morning. The tide is low. The wet sand is a mirror, reflecting the pale gray sky. The air is still and cool. A flock of sandpipers skitters along the shoreline. They move in perfect unison, like a single organism. They dart away from the gentle foam of an incoming wave, then rush back to peck at the sand for tiny creatures left behind. They are busy. They are focused. They are surviving. Further out, a pod of dolphins breaks the surface. Their dark, sleek bodies arc through the water. They move with purpose and grace. A few early morning joggers stop to watch them. We all stand in silence, mesmerized by this display of natural beauty. It's a moment of shared wonder. For a few seconds, the problems on the shore seem to melt away. There is only the vast ocean and its inhabitants. The sound of the waves is a deep, resonant breathing. Inhale, exhale. It is the rhythm of the planet, a rhythm that has been going on for millions of years. Even the plants here are survivors. Hardy, salt-resistant grasses cling to the dunes. Their roots run deep, holding the sand in place against the constant wind. They bend, but they don't break. They have adapted to this harsh environment. They thrive where other, more delicate plants would wither and die. Everything in nature here seems to have a resilience built into it, a toughness that allows it to endure the wind, the salt, and the relentless sun. It's a lesson in persistence, written into the very landscape of the beach. But this natural world is in direct, stark contrast with the human world just a few yards away. The dolphins swim free in the open ocean. The people in the tents are trapped. They are confined by poverty, by circumstance, by a system that has left them behind. The sandpipers find their food easily on the shore. The people in the encampments often don't know where their next meal will come from. The wildness and freedom of the ocean only serves to highlight the lack of freedom on the land. It's a beautiful and deeply cruel juxtaposition. The encampment is a world of its own. It has its own rules, its own routines, its own social structures. I walk slowly through the narrow paths between the tents. People are beginning to stir. A woman sweeps the concrete in front of her tent with a small, worn-out broom. It's a simple act of housekeeping, an attempt to bring order to a chaotic world. She nods at me, a brief acknowledgement. Her face is weathered by the sun and the wind. Her eyes hold a deep weariness, but also a flicker of defiance. This small patch of pavement is her home, and she is taking care of it. Life here is lived in public. There is no privacy. People cook, sleep, argue, and laugh within earshot of their neighbors. A man sits on an overturned bucket, carefully mending a tear in his jacket. He uses a small needle and thread. His movements are slow and deliberate. He is focused on his work, shutting out the noise and activity around him. Nearby, a small dog on a leash barks at a passing cyclist. The dog's owner gently pulls it back, murmuring soft words. These small moments of everyday life are happening against a backdrop of immense hardship. I see a makeshift kitchen. A small propane stove sits on a wooden crate. A few pots and pans are neatly stacked nearby. Someone is cooking breakfast. The smell of frying onions mixes with the salty air. It's a smell of domesticity, a smell of normalcy. It's a powerful reminder that these are not just statistics or social problems. They are people. They are trying to live their lives with a semblance of dignity. They are creating community in a place where they have been forgotten. They share food. They watch out for each other. They have to. The soundscape is complex. The constant whoosh of the ocean is the bass note. Layered on top are human sounds, the murmur of conversation, the clang of a dropped pan, the static-filled music from a small battery-powered radio. A shopping cart rattles past, filled with empty cans and bottles. It is the sound of the local economy, the sound of someone's daily work. This is not a silent place. It is a place full of the sounds of life, a life that is difficult and precarious, but a life that continues day after day against the odds. The morning marine layer rolls in. It's a thick, damp fog that blurs the edges of everything. It muffles the sound. The world feels smaller, more intimate. I stop to talk to a man named John. He sits on a folding chair outside his tent, drinking coffee from a tin mug. He tells me he used to work in construction. He lost his job. Then he lost his apartment. It happened fast. "One day you're fine," he says, his voice raspy. "The next, you're out here." It's a slippery slope. He gestures towards the ocean, which is now just a gray, invisible presence behind the fog. He talks about the nights, the cold that seeps into your bones, the fear. He says he barely sleeps. He's always listening, for the sound of trouble, for the sound of someone trying to take his few belongings. "You can't trust anyone," he says. But then he tells me about the woman in the next tent who shared her blanket with him last winter when his was stolen. He looks down at his hands. They are cracked and calloused, the hands of a man who used to build things. Now he struggles to maintain the small shelter he calls home. A little further down, I meet a young woman. She can't be much older than 20. She sits on the ground, sketching in a notepad. Her drawings are of the ocean, of the waves, of the birds. They are beautiful, full of detail and life. She tells me she came here to be an artist. She thought it would be romantic. The reality has been different. "It's hard to be creative when you're hungry," she says with a small, sad smile. She protects her sketchbook like it's the most valuable thing she owns. Maybe it is. It holds her dreams. She doesn't talk about how she got here. She only talks about the future, about getting a small room somewhere, a place where she can paint, a place with a door that locks. Her hope is a fragile thing, like a sandcastle against the tide. But it's there. I can see it in her eyes. I can see it in the careful lines of her drawings. The fog begins to thin. Patches of blue sky appear. The sun is starting to burn through. She closes her sketchbook and tucks it away safely inside her tent, away from the damp air and the eyes of strangers. As the day brightens, the beach transforms again. The tents remain, but the energy shifts. The first wave of tourists arrives. They carry colorful towels and coolers. They spread out their blankets on the sand, sometimes just feet away from the encampments. They seem to exist in a parallel universe. They splash in the waves. They laugh and play. Their children build sandcastles. They are here for a day of fun. They are here to experience the paradise they've seen in pictures. Most of them try very hard not to look at the tents. I watch this strange dance unfold. The two worlds, so close and yet so far apart. A family plays frisbee, their bright disc sailing through the air. In the background, a man pushes a shopping cart piled high with all his possessions. He moves slowly, his head down. The frisbee lands near his path. For a moment, the two worlds almost collide. A young boy runs to get the frisbee. He glances at the man and his cart, a look of confusion on his face. Then he grabs the disc and runs back to his family. The game resumes. The man continues on his journey. This is the rhythm of Venice Beach now, a constant tide of people. The housed and the unhoused, the vacationers and the residents. They flow past each other, a silent agreement to occupy the same space without truly acknowledging one another. The sun climbs higher in the sky. It beats down on the sand, on the shiny cars in the parking lot, and on the thin, weathered fabric of the tents. It offers warmth to everyone, without judgment. The ocean, too, is impartial. Its waves crash on the shore with the same steady rhythm, day and night. There are no easy answers here. There is no simple conclusion. The story of Venice Beach is a story of beauty and decay, of hope and despair. It's written on the faces of the people who live here. It's carried on the salty wind. As I leave, the tide is coming in. The waves are getting stronger, reaching further up the sand. They wash over the beach, erasing the footprints of the day. But they cannot wash away the tents. They cannot erase the struggle. The tide will go out, and it will come in again. And tomorrow, this same story will play out once more.